Welcome to my nightcap. And if you're back, well, thank you very much. We know despite our quarantined life, there's actually a lot of content out there. So I'm very happy you're choosing to spend time with me and our special guest tonight. The Segal Center is a very lonely place right now. And by you joining us, whether live or whatever time it is for you now when you're watching, means that we're still connected. And so we hope that this next hour brings a smile to your face, helps you to relax before bedtime. Most of all, we're here to remind you of some great theater moments that we made together. And I say together because this show, Million Dollar Quartet, would be nothing without the screams of the audiences, the standing ovations, the fans begging for more. Million Dollar Quartet was also the first show that found its way to Place des Arts for an extension. And we had a blast. We're also here so that you can say hi to the artists who brought these iconic characters to life and to catch up with them. While we're turning to our essential workers to get us through this crisis, we also turn to our artists to get us through this crisis in different ways, while we're taking a pause and waiting until we can get back on stage with you. Hold on. But right now, we're gonna get to Million Dollar Quartet. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Here's a clip, enjoy.
Oh, no more. Take it away, Miss Prince. Come on. Well, down by the riverside. Oh, yeah. Well, down by the riverside. Everywhere. Down by the riverside. I'm gonna study. Oh, no more. Well, I ain't gonna study more no more. I ain't gonna study more no more. I ain't gonna study. Oh, no more. Well,
Yay! It's so hard to believe, but 3 years ago today, we were in rehearsals getting ready to open Million Dollar Quartet as part of our 2016-2017 season. I had seen the show in Chicago, and I knew without a doubt that we'd do it at the Segal and that I would direct it. I mean, how hard could it be, right? Well, let's just say that if it was awesome and everyone made it look easy, I can tell you it was not easy at all. And I'm so very lucky that we had not only the most fabulous creative team working on it with me, but the Segal production team. It felt like at times that they were waiting for the show their entire life. The joy that everyone had just working on it. And then, of course, there was the cast. They are everything. And finding them was no small feat either. And you'll hear more about that over the next hour. We have so many surprises for you. I am so excited to be reunited with this dream team. And of course, if you have any questions or you want to know anything, we can try to remember, but please go ahead, feel free to ask in the chats. The cast is coming up, but as a special treat, I'd really like to begin this reunion with my partner in crime who started with me working on it from the very beginning, and that is David Theriault, music director. Oh, you were there and then you disappeared.
There you go. Hi. How's it going? Good.
So
how are you doing?
So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I love these things because we really don't communicate very much before we do this. So
No, not at all.
I'm living the joy of seeing you right now. So what have you been up to?
Since MDQ, it seems like it was 15 years ago in a way. Been doing a lot of shows since, actually, thanks to the Segal Center, I've been traveling a lot. We did Les Belles Sœurs in Calgary. Well, we did it. It was done in Montreal, but then I did it in Calgary. We did Once, obviously, which was at the Segal Center. But we also did Children of God, which was in Montreal and in Vancouver. So, Lisa, you've been making me travel across the country.
I know. You're a great discovery, David, and we're so very happy for everything that you've been doing. And you of course, I'm not surprised, had a show canceled on you, right?
Yeah. I was supposed to music direct the French premiere of Fun Home at Place des Arts. Actually, quite funny that we're doing an MDQ reunion right now, which with the Place des Arts. That was those two would have been my two Place des Arts experiences. But yeah, French rehearsals are a bit different than English rehearsals because we rehearsed a while back, like 2 months ago, took a break, and then we were going to start back. And 2 days before we were going to start back, we got an email saying it's all canceled, like so many other shows across the world. It might be repostponed. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, we were, I think this week would have been dress rehearsal or tech week, something like that.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure how many of Seagull audiences realize the incredible French theater that they have out there too. And I know when I saw that you did a music video of it, which is so cool that you can even do that. I'm very jealous that you did that. But the French scene is pretty awesome, and we miss that very much.
Yeah, there's a very vibrant scene, and even if they don't do as many musical theater as the Seagull, for example, this was great first at least musical for Duceppe, the company theater that's at Place des Arts. And we did this music video, and funny enough, Evan and Peter, who were part of $1 Million Quartet, a bassist and drummer, are in that video. So it's pretty fun to see them again.
Great. So speaking of $1 Million Quartet, David, how much fun did we have?
It was insane how much. Sometimes I went to work and I was like, this does not feel like work at all.
So nobody knows this, right? But we had the immense privilege of taking a trip to Edmonton together. Which you did an insane thing. We flew to Edmonton, saw the show, and then 3 hours later you flew back or something crazy. I at least got 6 hours sleep or something.
It was nuts. And I still remember that day I was in your office and you said, do you want to go see MDQ in Edmonton? I was like, I can. And she's like, oh, and you just said basically, come on, let's just do it. And we did it. Like 2 weeks later, we were on a plane going to Edmonton to go see their production, which obviously Crystal Graham was part of as well. And it was incredible. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Crystal he was like, he had us at the first note. We're like,
absolutely,
we need this guy. That's it.
Yeah.
And done.
I think I still remember us like writing little notes, and the first one was like, Christo. underline.
Yeah. But I think that the great thing about the show being done everywhere is but like similar to what's happening now, where we're having national conversations or with theater companies all around the country and even out of the country. We like chatted with everyone who's ever done $1 Million Quartet. Absolutely. And it helped us so much to find our way through it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many regional theaters who've done it, and everyone puts their little spin on it, and we definitely had ours. But it was very inspiring to see all the different productions and how we all connected. Like I connected with Bob Foster to talk about the score because I had some questions and he'd done it before. So it's really great to see that the whole country was kind of reunited through one show.
Yeah, I think another awesome thing, there's such discipline. Artists are so focused. They work, they get a job done, they listen to their teachers, like the music director. And there was this organic, language that only musicians can speak that would come alive in the rehearsal process. And it was a lot freer, I feel. And I'm not a musician, so maybe you could explain it better, but how was this different from your other musical theater shows that you've worked on?
Well, I think the number one difference is that they're all musicians. They all play instruments as well as act, sing, and all the other musical theater skills. And right at the first rehearsal, everything went so fast because they're all so skilled musicians. And I think that I even got surprised myself. I was like, wow, we're flying through the score because they came in so prepared. They were so inspired, and it was such a blast. They were just the funniest. Just thinking about it, I'm laughing about all the jokes that Christo, Graham's guy, and George and Sarah, they would all come up with the funniest thing in the room, and I think it really translated on stage once we've opened.
Yeah. So the next guys we're going to bring in are Peter and Evan, who were on stage the entire time. You know, we couldn't have done the show without them. Do you remember, you know, how we got them and like how you knew we had to have them on board? I was like trying to remember because the casting for some areas is so clear in my mind.
Yeah. Well, Evan and Peter, I've been playing music with them since, God, I think, since I was in school. I met them when I was at school. And they've been my musicians almost since day one. So there was almost no question for me to not hire them. And they've been by my side for so long, and they're kind of in Montreal, they do all the musicals out there. And since one of my first musicals, or at least, back then, they kind of took a chance with me. They did some gigs that were not paid or very little, and they're still by my side. And it's very beautiful to have that. And it kind of just fit perfectly with the guys of MDQ. So it wasn't, this casting decision was not difficult.
So let's bring them in. If they're backstage, let's bring them in.
Hey boys.
Hey. Wow. So, so I don't know if people may not realize, but you guys were also in the Times They're a Changin', which was the first show we had to close. And I remember when you walked into rehearsal for the first time and a flood of MDQ memories came back. But just wanted to make sure everyone knows that you're on stage also during the Times They're a Changin'. How have you been doing since then?
As good as we can.
Yeah.
Are you able to play? Do you play in wherever you are?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely one of the things getting me through right now, practicing. And I'm still technically in school at McGill, like doing some music stuff there. So I have courses to finish for music. So have to practice for that.
Yeah.
I just realized, let's make sure that everyone, we know who you played. So Peter played Fluke, the drummer, and Evan played the baby bro. The older bro or the baby bro? Which one? Older?
Older?
Been 3 years.
We've
Brother
only
Jay.
known him as $4.
Brother Jay.
Brother Jay.
Yeah, Brother Jay. That's it.
What?
$4.
$4, Brother Jay.
So what for you, when you think back to our production, because I know, Evan, you went on and did subsequent productions of MDQ. And Peter, you haven't, right?
No, yeah.
No.
Just
So what, like when you think back to the experience that we had at the Seagull and at Place des Arts, how do you feel? I know it's like, I don't know. It's like an obvious question, but I feel like I watched this very special experience, but you lived it.
Yeah, it was a super special experience because for me, it was my first experience being in a theater setting where it wasn't just, 2 rehearsals and then you're on your run. It was, here's, 2 weeks of rehearsal and a week of tech, and then you're going to be doing your thing. So that was awesome, just to have that time to really get to know everybody and to get to know the scene, the lines, the interactions. It was so beautiful. It was fresh. It was awesome. It was never like that afterwards.
Because usually when we do music, a typical musical theater, I rehearse, the music director rehearsed with the band 3 or 4 times, and then the whole cast meets with the Sitzprobe, and then we go on with tech. But with this one, you were part of the cast since day one, basically.
Yeah.
So that for you guys is very different than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And Evan, I remember there was no hesitation when we were like, can you stand on your instrument? Can you spin on your instrument? There it is.
There's Ed on
there
it.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, like just gung-ho to try anything, and that is really a director's dream. It also rubs off on your fellow company members, but just being there for everyone, the two of you, like really keeping the heartbeat of the show going. It was great memories. Great memories.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us and being here. I wish we could have like everyone on like this big reunion, but we can't have so many people on screen at once. But it's really, really good to see you. But stick around a little bit because we can still add more to this conversation.
For
Okay. Is there? But before we add, is there anything you guys want to share that you're working on, or shout outs?
No, everything's pretty quiet right now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess enjoy
Yeah.
this downtime, right?
That's it.
We can
Yeah.
we can only enjoy the downtime. Okay. Well, so we're gonna bring before we get to the the big shots. The biggest big shot of all is the guy who brought all of these guys together, and that is Sam Phillips, played by the wonderful James Loy. James isn't here yet. Oh,
Oh.
okay, that's okay. Ed is here. So we'll you know what? It's actually like super in character. He's probably like backstage in his booth or something like that.
Super meta.
Mel maybe Facebook message him. I think that was like the best way to get. But here's Ed.
Hi.
Yay!
Always on time. Always on time.
Always.
That James Loy, that's incredible. Hi, guys.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Anything can happen when you're live.
I know.
You know?
Well, we recovered. I showed up. This is good.
And it's very good to see you. And
You
actually,
too.
it's very good to see you with David, because your audition I will remember forever.
So will I.
And okay, let's have your perspective and then our perspective.
I can't
Okay.
wait.
So I drove up to Montreal, and I had never ever done any sort of theater whatsoever, like not even high school drama, nothing. And then I show up. I had my big heavy amp and my guitar, and I was so nervous. I was just playing by myself. I felt like I knew the song really well, but I got into the room and it was just the strangest atmosphere. Not that you guys are strange whatsoever, but just the strangest atmosphere I could possibly think of. And then my amp wasn't working, and then I played and I was like really felt horrible about it. And I packed up my stuff in the car and I was like, that didn't go well. It's not going to happen. And then apparently it was okay. But I was just trying to show that I was like a real human being, just being real flustered. But yeah, I felt horrible about it. I thought it was like a total bust. But I guess not. I guess you guys were okay with it.
Wow. I mean, David, like, you walked in and rescued us from our quest, because we'd been seeing a lot of talented actors, but you walked in and you were the real deal. And it was a breath of fresh air and everything we were looking for and everything that we needed. And anyway, David, do you want to add to that?
Well, I'll take it even before that, when we got your email about your interest in being in the show, right?
Yes. My thesis.
It literally felt like a thesis, but it was so clear. And just from that email, I knew what you were talking about. And you could tell you really wanted to be part of the show, and you were living that kind of music. And I think that's what we felt when you walked in, regardless of the sweaty palms and the dysfunctional amp and all that stuff. We just felt that you were breathing and living that music, and I think that's what we caught on right away.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you guys.
And
Nice
we
to
have
see
to
you.
shout out Caitlin.
My sister.
Who your sister, who assistant directed the show, and who was like, I think my brother could do it. Just
She called me and she
very
said,
casually.
I was just a musician in Toronto playing bars and stuff, and she called me and she's like, I would never ever put you forward for any sort of theater part ever, but this might work. So this was the one exception, I suppose. Yeah.
And then
But-
you.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I think Lisa, we're gonna say the same thing. This launched a whole creature.
Yeah,
You just
the Seagull was my debut, and then I did the show a couple times afterwards and did some other similar shows. So like, thank you guys for getting me my start in the industry, and taking a chance on
I
me.
mean,
Would you say?
similar and not similar.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. Well,
So-
David, we've known you since you're 19.
True. The Seagull gave me my career 100%.
Mhm.
And so Ed, when you went on to do other versions of this, was there any like differentiating quality of the Seagulls? Not necessarily production, because that's not fair. I'm sure all productions were great, but just of the experience that you had with us.
Yeah, I mean, because it was the first one, and also my introduction to theater at all as an actor. It had this like from the start, this great like sort of summer camp feel to it. Like I couldn't believe I was being paid to be there around these talented people and play music all day. It was just such a cool experience, and I think that group of people, along with you guys, but the group of people, the sort of playing in between work, just brought us so tight as a band, as a little family. That it definitely had to show, I think, to audiences. It couldn't help but feel that that band was very tight, and that little family was quite tight and quite creative together, and everyone was super talented. So, I think it just felt very natural, and we kind of just played off each other really easily. So it was a lot of fun.
And you were a big part of creating that atmosphere, because I think every time we weren't working, your happy place was just jamming. And so that created this atmosphere that was unlike anything I'd ever seen. I was like, take a break. But like, this is my break.
The stage manager's nightmare. It's just like, so, okay, we're back. All right, just
Yeah. So Ed, what's happening now? What are you working on? What can you tell us and show us?
Well, I am obviously staying pretty close to home like everybody else. I'm working on just some recordings of my own, and working on, like, I've been doing some writing in terms of like short fiction. There's my little plug. So just
What is this? Don't look at Mr. Beaver.
yeah,
Don't
that's my cat Lucy, and she has this little doll beaver. And I just caught this picture of her once, and I was just like, it looked like she just did not want me to look at the beaver whatsoever. Like she was very possessive of it. So this is just gonna kind of be like a playlist of just original material that I just keep adding to for who knows. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm kind of just hunkering down and reading books and writing sort of whatever for for who knows, for what audience I don't know, or for what purpose, but yeah, just trying to stay creative and flexing the muscles and doing stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just realized also I didn't remind anyone that you played Carl Perkins.
Oh yeah.
In case anyone was wondering, was he Elvis? Have you kept in touch with any of the cast members?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I won't spoil it, but we some of us decided to try to put together something for today. So we've been in touch today. But Christo, who played Jerry Lee, I was playing guitar in his band recently because I moved back to Toronto. But we had a concert that actually got canceled because of the pandemic. So we put together a couple videos sort of remotely. So I've been in touch with Christo, and happy to be in touch with the other guys as well.
That's amazing. I think you sent us. I would love to see it. I haven't seen it yet. This will be a great introduction to the one and only Christo. So why don't we show?
I guess it must be a big
I didn't even have to take my bathrobe
Wow.
off.
You guys sound so good, and
That's
it just melts my heart to see you together.
Pretty cool, eh?
So cool.
Just brought me back to all the solos you just would rip every night.
Oh, you're a doll.
So is Christo there?
Hi.
Wow! Oh my God, I haven't seen
Oh
you
my
in so
God.
long. So
I-
good to see you.
I don't have Jerry hair. I was gonna put a wig on or something, but
You know what? We just be yourself.
The shirt will do.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I don't get to dress up very often for anything now, so I thought I would.
You're dressed up?
Yep, this is as fancy as I get. Fancy as it gets for a Monday night.
But what are
Thank
you
you.
wearing on the bottom?
That's the $1 million question.
That's the $1 million question. I have gray sweatpants on.
Oh, nice. I'm just wearing jeans. Just
Yeah.
it's you all look so good. It's so nice to see you all.
Yeah,
that was
Nice to
so
see you too, buddy.
great, that video that you sent with you and Ed playing together.
Yeah, we were really excited to be playing together again. He emailed me months ago asking if I ever needed a guitarist to keep him in mind, and I took him up on it as soon as he moved to Toronto.
Wow. So what else? What are you up to these days, Christo?
Just dressing up on a Monday night and staying home. I made some beans today, like for the first time, just like cooked all afternoon some beans.
Nice.
So that was good. So I've been cooking lots of food and playing games and listening to music and playing music and yeah, trying to spend the time as productively as possible while still relaxing and
Mm-hmm.
Do you find this situation kind of helps to write music, or it's pretty the contrary and unmotivating?
I mean, you don't often get told to just please don't do anything, like please stay home and write music. You don't often get told that by the smart people of the world who are so nice enough to say, let us take care of it, and you just do what you can by staying away. So I guess it is easier in a way because the pressure's off in a certain way to spend as much time as you need to write a song, or
Mm-hmm.
but I guess at the same time you still have to wait till something comes. But I think the best thing that we've figured out how to do, Ed and I together, we've done these videos that you just saw, which has been such an amazing blessing, I think, to be able to still play music together, which is really, really, it's been the best part of my day when I get a video from my band members saying, here's the guitar and here's the drums, and it's been such an amazing thing. So I hope there's a lot of other bands that are doing it, and I wish every musician could have the same experience. I hope they are. I hope they're still playing together, because it's a really it's really nice to be able to do that.
It's great to practice a little bit by yourself, but at some point you just need other people to create, because if not, it gets pretty lonely.
Yeah.
I love Christo. I'm looking at your background, and you have the record player and these records, and it's reminding me so much of you, this old soul, but this young burst of energy and talent that always astounded everybody. But just this reminder of the fabric of Christo Graham and what you bring to us in music is really something special.
That's very nice. This is just a backdrop.
It's a green screen.
This is just the green screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wallpaper.
We're gonna.
No, I've been making my way through the records.
We're gonna bring Peter and Evan in.
Oh yeah.
Just to be a part of.
Oh yeah.
Because
Hello.
so you can really all be together. since they're still here.
That mustache is fantastic. I have to say.
Thought you would like it.
Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff.
I would just like to point out that I was gonna get some wine, but then I found this.
Oh,
Awesome.
Glenfiddich. Very nice. If James Loy were here, if he showed up on time, he'd know
Yeah.
what to say about that.
He probably has a good reason.
I know, I'm just joking.
Figure that out. I know. Christo, I heard you recently had this experience at Sun Records, which is
Oh yeah,
which is so
yeah.
cool. What
It
tell
was-
us about that?
So this was in February, this past February. My wife Kelly and I took a sort of spontaneous honeymoon down to Nashville. We took our crappy car down there, and it made it all the way there and back, and then broke down just last week. But it made it to Nashville and then over to Memphis, and we of course had to see Sun Records, and it was really, really, it was like a dream. It was very unreal. It's a very small place, of course, but it just to be in there and to sit at Jerry Lee's piano and stand where Elvis stood and hold his microphone and all the touristy stuff. It really gives you all the chills that they say it does.
Yeah, and we have a clip, I believe, of you playing.
Nice.
Whoa!
Oh boy.
Dark.
Like, do you want to just shout, like, I played Jerry Lee Lewis, or I don't know. That must have been so crazy.
Well, I mean, if you're in there, if you're in that room, you're obviously going to be a huge fan. And the guy that jumped in, so the guy playing bass, it was actually the tour guide,
Oh, cool.
who jumped in on the bass, and then the other gentleman that hopped in on the high end of the piano was I think he was from Sweden or something, and he was with two other people that didn't even speak English. So for him to just jump in and you could just tell everybody was on the same page. Everybody was Jerry fans and Elvis fans. And
Any Carl
It was-
fans in the house, or
no, not so much. Carl. Yeah. Who's Carl? Yeah.
Bro, we all know it.
Oh, and I got hold on a second.
Oh, he's wearing pants.
I did.
Confirmed.
Are you guys talking about me when I had my head,
No.
headphones
No.
on? So this is what I came home with,
cool.
which is
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
so during the whole show, you probably remember Jerry Lee's talking about y'all want to hear my first record. I just had a record come out on Sun, and this is an original pressing of the 1956, his first record,
Oh my God.
Crazy Arms. The B-side of which is End of the Road, which is one of the only songs Jerry Lee wrote. So that was my souvenir coming home from Memphis.
Christo, which one was the underscore you used at some point? Was it End of the Road?
Crazy hands.
Crazy Arms.
Crazy Arms. That's
Crazy
it.
hands. Yeah, that's it.
That's it,
Jazz
yeah.
hands. Yeah.
Could you ever go to the piano and start playing a Jerry Lee Lewis song just to make sure you can still do it?
Yeah, I should have done that before I went to Sun Records. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a go-to, and I still listen to, like, not just because he hadn't had very many songs in 1956 yet, so I still brush up on or start learning a Jerry Lee tune from the 70s or 80s or from last year, because he's still still way better than anybody else. So
Wow. So crazy. It's like flooding back of memories of this. Do you think you'll ever play him again, or are you put him away?
Sure. Let's. I mean, back at Siegel Center sometime. Sure, why not?
Hey, it might.
If it's with all of you, I definitely would.
That would be that's something to think about for sure.
Mhm.
Well, David, I think this is our time for goodbye for you, so we can keep reuniting this cast.
Gotta let some people in.
We're so happy you were here,
Good to see you guys.
and
See you, David.
see you, David.
Bye, David.
So it's time for the king to come in.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm wearing a hat because I have about 2 months worth of hair underneath this that I haven't been able to cut yet. I'm not brave enough to do it myself.
And this is what happens when you do.
It's right there.
Do you remember that pic?
Yes, I do. We were emo. We were gonna be emo quartet. Hey guys, it's really nice to see all of you.
Hi,
The
George.
whole time. It's very funny.
Yeah, I'll never forget your audition too. Like you could feel the nerves, and here we are, David and I, again, just being like, oh my God, does it get better than this? You know, like yeah, now I'm saying to myself, oh, I shouldn't have said that because you're so like, I don't want you to overthink that I just said you were nervous, but you know what I
Oh,
mean.
I was probably nervous. I was like, well, because I drove all the way from Toronto. It was just like, it's 6 hours or something. And I was like, oh gosh, if I drive all this way just to be, just to get nervous and go home.
Yeah. And I mean, look, Elvis, like that is some hard shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, big time.
And
Well,
you,
because it's, because everyone knows Elvis and what they think Elvis is, and everyone has they're like, oh, it's Elvis because he does this thing, and it's different for everybody, and so, you just do what you can do, and
yeah. I mean, I remember some of the audience comments, and I'm like, you realize that's the Elvis 20 years later that you're talking about.
yeah.
So no, I know what you mean. And did you feel that when you were doing the show? Oh, hey, Brian, set designer.
Oh, hi. I felt it was like, because I had done the show already. I did it in at the Globe in Regina, and so I had kind of felt that already. So I kind of knew what to expect. But Montreal has some of the biggest Elvis fans in the world, so I wasn't prepared for that. But I had a really good time, and it was just a blast to play with all you guys.
And since we did the show, you really kept flying, like leading roles in at Shaw, at Stratford. I mean, we
Oh my God!
we're photobombing you right now, but I mean, yeah, from Rocky to Carousel to Music Man, you just haven't stopped.
Oh well, it's after pretty much shortly after I got back from Chantal.
Chantal,
Hi, Chantal.
manager.
I had there was auditions for Stratford. They were doing Rocky Horror and The Music Man, and so I ended up getting to do that. And I think I'm pretty sure that I got a nice recommendation from you from the higher ups at Stratford. They called, and so thank you. I was working, I think, the last couple of years because of you, and Rocky was a blast. It was unlike anything it was kind of like $1 Million Quartet in the way that it was so many people had so much like love on these songs and these memories, and they have memories of going to see the movie, just like they have memories of these four guys, and so that was a really fun and wild experience. And then Last year I was at the Shaw Festival. I did Brigadoon, and this year I was just underway at rehearsals at Stratford again. We were doing Spamalot and Wendy and Peter Pan, and then we all got sent home. So I've watched about 3 seasons of Dexter. I have eaten so many chips, and and yeah, I'm just kind of like, what else do you do? We bought a house.
Oh,
Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah, we bought a house in Stratford, so we get possession of that on the 30th. So I'm gonna, paint, I guess.
Yeah. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
I'm just thinking, when someone calls me for a referral or a recommendation, as I do with other professionals across the country, all you really want to know is if this person is good to work with, because they're already talented. They're already right for the parts at that point. And you were just, and I'm sure everyone would agree, but just so wonderful to work with, and
Thank you.
just so gung-ho and willing to try anything, and like on never-ending quest for perfection, which wasn't necessary, but that's what I remember very, very fondly.
Well, it was wonderful working there. It was just a dream. It was when that clip came up at the beginning of us singing together. I hadn't even thought about that song in such a long time, and it brought all those memories back of just like being in the Seagull, like in the front entrance, like what we were rehearsing in the thing across the hall from the theater, and it did all that just like came back like that. It was really fun.
Yeah. So I think we should bring in the other woman in the show. It was, we had Chantal and Sarah, stage managers, myself and Caitlin, Amanda, who was kind of like apprenticing directing at that time, and then our leading lady, who was also, so special to have. And there's a story behind that as well on how that happened. If we have to let, though, I think we have to let Evan and Fluke go. But it was so great to see you guys.
Yeah, it's so good to
Hi, boys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
It disappeared so fast.
Get I'm out of here.
And let's bring Sarah Diamond into the show.
Sarah.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Sarah.
Okay, you are clearly not in Montreal.
I know. I'm in LA still. You can kind of see it from the palm trees.
Yes, and I kind of see you're outside. Don't rub it in. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Awesome. How are you doing? How long have you been in LA?
I've been here since the middle of January, and I was planning on coming back in March. But then when everything happened, I live with my parents, so I had a place here, and I wanted to stay for as long as I could to just like not be with them. So probably here for another couple of weeks.
Right, or until you can travel, I guess.
I think I can go back, but definitely no traveling after that.
Right. So, the story, I don't know if people don't know this, but it's an unusual story because, when we put out the audition for the show, we had something like 200 submissions for your parts. It's a very common age bracket for a young woman and to sing, and we had over 200 submissions, and this role, Diane, Elvis Presley's girlfriend, she couldn't just be a wonderful musical theater performer, of which there are many of in this country. And then, I have to say it was Kasia Leskowitz, our associate producer, who mentioned you. And it was this light bulb, like, I wonder, would she? And again, like every one of you, Ed and Christo and George, and Sky, who had done it before, and James too, just the willingness, the risk taking that you guys did to just say, I haven't done this before, but yeah, I can do it. And that's what made you so perfect for the part. Was it Do you remember back to that moment of agreeing to do it, and
I
that?
do.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
It was just an opportunity for a challenge. And I loved meeting with you and talking to you about what the role would be about and the experience. And I'm really happy I did it. I think it was one of the most amazing experiences of the life so far.
Yeah, and you had to learn an accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
I do, and act more than I ever have.
And
It was cool.
and how's your music going?
Yeah, it's going well. I released a project last October, or like 2 Octobers ago. So that's been out on streaming services, and I'm out in LA writing more music with people. Releasing another I'm releasing another project probably in June or July. And yeah, just keeping on and making music as much as I can.
Amazing. And I love following you
Aw.
on Instagram, and the little thing. Everybody should follow Sarah because she gives us some really great music breaks too.
Aw. Thank you.
I have a really fun memory to share. Sarah, you weren't with us, but we were with you. So I'm going to share the memory, and then we can talk about it.
I'm gonna get one more.
I think we turned the hockey game off after that too. didn't we?
Okay, so who wants to? I'm talking too much. So who wants to who wants to reminisce about that moment and tell everyone what that was?
Oh well, who was Sarah was singing the national anthem at the Habs games, I guess, and we all ate nachos and watched it.
Yeah.
Where was it? Do you remember where it was?
What?
I remember. Do you remember?
Where was it?
At the Peel Pub.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fun stuff.
And I'll never forget, like, you were so sweet. We were in rehearsals, and you're like, I just need to leave like an hour early to go sing the national anthem.
And I remember like being downstairs and putting on my makeup really quickly and like trying to balance everything. And it's good.
Was that?
Good stuff.
Am I making this up, or were you like? Was there really bad traffic or something, and you were almost going to be late,
Yeah.
or was that
Yeah.
that time?
But the Uber driver got me there, or my dad, I think, picked me up and sped and got me there in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I remember, and we were all like really stressed out that was even going to
It's
happen.
going to be the time that, yeah.
Like, did anyone else just think about how crowded that bar was?
Oh yeah, it was
And,
bonkers.
and how, like, just the idea of being in a stadium with thousands of people and the life we're living right now.
Yeah, totally.
And that probably won't be back for a long time. Like big arenas like that.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, 30,000 people. I think those days are going to be shelved for a little bit.
I miss eating nachos in a pub too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Yeah, all you can eat sushi.
Although nachos are a very good quarantine snack.
I agree.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've had so much salsa in the past few weeks.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where they're gonna have to blow out a wall to get me out of here when this is all over.
Oh, I know we're so off our routines, but
Oh well, and all the gyms are closed. So
I've actually been working out more like during the quarantine than I was before, which I think says more about my routine before the quarantine than it does about now.
oh, you're lucky.
yeah.
Yeah, they closed the gyms, and I'm like, well, I guess that's it for me. That's been,
Okay, so let's take a trip together down memory lane. I'm gonna put up some photos of the show and see what kind of memories it brings back.
All right.
Or if you can
All
tell,
right.
or if you remember, okay, that's an easy one. What song?
Oh,
I remember Christo when you dyed your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that, just like not really more than that. Just I'm like, oh yeah, you really had to dye your hair, and you really had to bleach it.
Yeah, that was I was Surfer Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
For sure. It
That's
was
right.
great. It was great.
You
like a
helped
Zach
us
Morris
get the right
Saved by the Bell look.
It kind
Yeah.
of worked though, because I remember when we went to your place and you brought your typewriter and you were wearing like those shirts with all the patterns on them and the bleach hair. It worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it definitely I became an 80s teen idol there for
Yeah.
a
You
good
should
month. a good
you
6
should
weeks.
reconsider it. I think.
Well, it'll be a while now, but
Well, you got the time.
yeah.
So that was down by the riverside. Okay, what's this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This
that
is
was like, I think that one was like the best picture that I've ever gotten of myself, because usually when I'm singing, I don't know if my eyes blink at different speeds, but one of them is like always closed, and that was the only one that I've ever gotten. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, and that happened in our like encore section.
Yeah.
And I mean, how, I know what it felt watching it every night, but when those lights came and the jackets came on, what was that moment like for you? Was it like, okay, I can get through, the show's almost over, or this is the best part of the show and I wish it would go on?
George still uses this as his website. I do. Yeah.
It's a dynamic shot.
Because it was the only good picture of me. No, I was so excited for that because it was like everyone was up on their feet and like they were all excited and they were all ready, and like and some of them had seen it before, so they knew it was coming, and it was always so exciting. And I forgot about those jackets, you guys, when we put those on.
Do you remember Sarah's unbelievable gown that she wore?
Oh, I remember
Yes.
that, and I remember how tight it was and how quickly we had to put it on. And then like the penguin walk to get out on stage.
It's just gorgeous. Itai Eldel did the lighting, Brian
Yeah.
Benkiewicz did the set, Louise Bourret did the costumes. We had such an amazing team working on the show.
Mhm.
And I'm sad that Sky's not with us today. Oh, there you are.
Oh wow!
Abby.
Hey, I look so creepy, and you're like so cute and beautiful.
You see,
You're like, you're
George,
my
you are
friend.
so hard on yourself. This goes back to what I was saying before. You look unbelievable.
I look like Dexter.
You're watching too much Dexter.
You're
watching
watching
too much Dexter, that's the
Dexter,
problem.
man.
Yeah. But I know Sky's not here, but casting Johnny Cash was the toughest because we worked hard to find someone in Canada, and I even think we made a couple of offers and that didn't work. And I went down to Miami. There he is in Walk the Line, and went down to Miami and asked to kind of meet him after the show, and just started, trying to sell like why he should want to come to Montreal to do the show. And
In the winter.
he was in the winter, but what a great addition, and his past experience with the show also helped so much in this.
Well, and he's been. I think everyone in North America has had the same thought because he's been doing the show nonstop since we finished like 3 years ago, all over the States.
Yeah. But yet you guys felt like such a family too.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
It
Yeah.
was amazing moments.
Oh, and there you get a little
There's our
glimpse.
family shot.
The family shot and the famous photo, and
That was always my favorite moment, is that because we had to stop, right? But there was always in the audience like an
Yeah.
and I just wanted to smile and crack so badly every single time, but you can't because you have to look like the picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job of looking like the picture.
Oh yeah.
So when we went to Place des Arts, how was that different? Do you remember that transition from Seagull Stage to Cinquième Salle?
I forgot that we did that for a second.
It was a nice little tag to it because
Yeah.
you have this sort of a nice ending at the Seagull Center, and then you get to do it all over again to a nice little, to a different audience, to a different room.
Mm-hmm.
You don't often get that experience. It was great. It was like starting over again too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt it made the just because of the way the room was set up, because the Seagull Center feels like a theater. That felt a lot more like a concert, especially at the end. Just the just the structure of it, and yeah. And I remember it was weird to just have all of a sudden the backstage completely different, but it's just bizarre.
It was cool to walk out in and be in kind of that common area.
Yeah.
Everything was happening and that we were there, and it's a really yeah. Remember?
I was looking for the backstage. I just found it.
Yeah.
Oh, and when we were at Place des Arts too, wasn't that when there was that big the
puppet show?
Yeah,
yeah.
On the street.
The giants.
The giant puppets. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were a couple of shows that we had to start late because people couldn't get to the theater.
Wild.
Because the streets were so full of the
Oh my
puppets.
gosh. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was stuck in the middle of a sea of people, and I was like trying to kind of squeeze my way through. I was like, I got to get to work, and they're like, "Don't push me."
I'm watching the puppets.
I'm watching puppets here. Get your seat.
And I think I had to call Chantel because because I was like, I'm on my way. I can't get to the theater. I don't know what to do.
That's right.
What are any other audience moments, either from the stage or outside in the lobby, that are near and dear to you? Oh, that's a good shot. Sarah, can you name the song you are singing?
Not Fever.
I hear you knocking.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's okay. It happens to all of us. We let it go.
Then all of a sudden, it's like slowly coming back.
Yeah. So yeah, any fun fan happenings, fan encounters? Christo, you had many.
Oh,
you probably don't remember.
I feel like I remember huddles around him.
Yeah.
There was. There I am being held up by my hair. That was yes. I remember having to take good care of that piano right until the end.
Until you didn't.
Until I didn't.
Yeah, David just reminded us that you kind of. What did you do for closing night, Christo?
I made kindling out of it.
What's he doing? Oh, save a piece of it or something?
Oh.
That's amazing.
What
There it
key
is.
is that?
That's definitely
Looks like an F sharp.
Yeah, I think that's in an F.
Yeah.
F sharp would be black.
Black, wouldn't it? Yeah. You're sharp.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
this is I probably wasn't supposed to take this, but
That's okay. Where else was it gonna go?
no, that was sad and also very satisfying, and I thought I better make Jerry Lee proud. If I can't light it on fire, then I better
Second best.
Just bust it to pieces.
make firewood out of it.
Yeah. Wow.
No, there was we had that one school show too where the David.
I'm back.
We had several school shows where it was so amazing to see the kids go wild for this older music and for And for like us as these 50s stars, like we walked out after the show and like it felt like Beatlemania or like Elvis mania all over again, which is crazy because I don't picture high schoolers really listening to Blue Suede Shoes. Most of them, at least.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we had a bunch of. I've never felt like cooler than when we walked out, and like they were like shaking, like they wanted us to sign their program, and I was like, I was bartending before this. Like I'm literally nobody.
Yeah, it was wild to have them because you have any number of 50 to 70-year-olds coming up and saying this music was their music and this it means so much to so many people, but to have a young person who is just experiencing this music for the first time, that was really surprising and powerful.
Yeah, it was the show. At the end of the day, it really had everything. It made you leap to your feet and want and dance and feel, but it also had some very tender moments, and I'm just reliving it back then, and then all of us. It was just such a joy to do and to be involved in, and I'm so glad that you're here and we got to do this. And my wines. I'll give my last toast to James and Sky, who were not able to join us. And before we sign off, I heard you guys did a little special something to celebrate this reunion. And but thank you so much. Without asking, this is like, we'll mention it at the beginning when for people who are watching this later, so they definitely stay to the very end so they could see it.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having us.
Lisa.
And nice to see you all. Yeah,
nice
so
to see you
fun.
too.
So good
Thank
to see
you. Okay, wait, stay with us so we can do one final bye after we watch this video, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm tired and so weary, but I must go alone till the Lord comes and calls me away. Oh yes, well the moon so bright and the Lamb is alive, and the night is as black as the sea. Oh yes, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me.
Ah,
Yeah.
adorable.
I haven't played that song in 3 years, and I thought I did, like 100 and some shows of this, and I thought I'd never forget it. Could not remember it for the life of me.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Like that's what we need right now, to feel this and to be reminded of this. And we'll get back to doing it soon enough, but you just gave us something very, very special. And I can't thank you enough. Hi, Karine. Thank you. And I saw you too. Hi. And Shanta, it's so good. We're going to make this one. I can feel it. I can feel Cynthia Erivo and Shoshana Bean now have some competition. I love you guys. It's so great to see you. Hope everyone's
Thanks for having us.
following your
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
and,
thank you, Lisa.
and that we can do this again in the near future in person.
Yes.
That would be great.
Everybody for watching. Mwah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh,
Oh.
bye.